I'm Nurse Jessica Seitz, along with Nurse Erica. We're Nurses Uncorked, the podcast that takes nursing facts with nursing comedy and makes a little cocktail out of it. Hey everybody, welcome back to Nurses Uncorked. This is another amazing episode. Well, I think it's going to be, but we'll... I always think they're going to be amazing. We've got myself, Nurse Jessica Seitz, and my co-host, Nurse Erica, and we've got an interesting topic today that I think you guys are really going to want to stick around and hear about this, because it's all about protecting yourself on social media. And this is a huge hot topic because people have lost their jobs, and we're going to get into a whole story about that. People have lost their jobs or been written up or disciplined because of things that they've posted and not even realized it on social media, and how you can get in trouble at your workplace. So we're going to talk about how to cover yourself and what you can do to protect yourself on social media. So Nurse Erica is going to get us into, before we do anything else, because this is Nurses Uncorked. So we're filter free and we're having a cocktail, we're uncorking. And so, as our new tradition is, Nurse Erica is going to have the drink of the week. She's going to tell us what's shaking. She's going to give us a recipe. What you got, girl?
Cocktail of the week.
Yay!
Thingly calling the shift diff, because once upon a time I was convinced to work a night shift. I cannot do night shift. I'm not a night shift girly. Not because of the shift diff, because I could care less, but because they promised to take me out for Moscow Mules, and it's my favorite drink. One of my favorite drinks. So
I want to hear about this Moscow Mule.
Have you never had a Moscow Mule?
No.
Okay.
Never. I don't even know what that is.
Take some notes, girl, because it's my specialty. So, ginger beer. You gotta have ginger beer. That's like the base of it.
Never had that either.
And I don't even really like beer, but like I love a Moscow Mule. So you gotta have the ginger beer. Okay.
Okay.
And you gotta have the copper cup, because it keeps the drink really, really cold. So
oh, nice.
This is the bulk of it. A whole beer in there. Then we're going to add some vodka. I got my little shot
ginger
glass.
Beer, vodka.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I never know how much to put in, so I put in like a shot, and then if I want to add more, I add more, whatever. I don't know. And then,
good.
Normally you should have real limes and cut them up, but I always keep lime juice on hand for this very reason. So
can't go wrong with that.
Normally you would like garnish with a lime wedge and then squeeze another wedge in and mix it up. But I like a lot, like a lot of lime juice, like a lot. So pouring that in, and I don't have any real lime to garnish it, but that's my shift diff. That's cocktail of the week. Diff.
All right, let's see how you like it, because obviously you do like it. Because you're
so
making
good.
it again.
So good.
Okay.
So good.
So that sounds like an easy recipe. What's a ginger beer taste like on its own? Is it really bitter? Is it a bitter beer, or is it just...
I've never really drunk it on its own, because I don't really like beer, but I love a Moscow Mule. So... All
right, I'm going to have to try that.
There you go. You need to get...
So that's our...
Jessica didn't even know what these copper cups were. I sent her a picture of them.
Never heard of
you gotta get one. It keeps your drink so cold that like it's hard to even hold it, because it gets so cold.
And that's the shift diff. We're not sure if we're talking about differential pay or C diff. Nobody knows.
I don't know.
It could be either. It depends on how the workday went. But
one good thing about these drinks is they have very few calories. That's why I started drinking them when I was dieting, because someone told me like, I always get Moscow Mules, they hardly have any calories. I'm like, done. Watch me. And now I love them. Well, I love them.
I know vodka is like one of the lowest, I think, if you're going to drink alcohol. So that makes sense. And mix in a beer with vodka. Yeah. Lime juice is good. Yeah.
And that's how you get me to pick up an overtime shift. Promise to take me out for Moscow Mules.
Or ask her after she's had a couple Moscow Mules.
True.
Then ask her. Maybe she'd be more willing to pick up a shift then. I don't know. Well, that I like it. That's our second cocktail so far. I like saying that cocktail. I'm going to hell in a handbasket. Okay. So we're going to talk about how to protect yourself on social media. So a couple of weeks ago, I had a good friend of mine on the podcast, Joshua Strickland, and he shared a story about how he was terminated at his place of employment for taking a selfie and posting it on social media. Nurse Erica and I thought it would be a great opportunity and necessary for us to tape a podcast about, how to protect yourself on social media. And I've heard multiple stories like that. And
there have been so many, especially when TikTok started blowing up, and early in the pandemic when nurses were like trying to cope and then thought that they would blow off steam by making like a cute little dance video TikTok at work. Yep. I mean, there's a ton of examples of nurses being terminated for doing that. And I've been talking about it since day one, trying to warn nurses, because the thing is they think that they haven't done anything wrong because there's not a patient in there in the video or whatnot. And I keep saying, look, you don't understand. Most places have ironclad social media policies that are like often multiple pages and are worded by attorneys that are meant to cover all of the bases, and it's not even just that you can't make a video at work. Like, that's a big component. It's also that you can't disparage your employer publicly in any way. So you could have like your own, personal Facebook, and then you go home and you post something venting about, what a crap hospital it is or something. And then someone scrolls down and finds a post of yours from 2 years prior where you're wearing the company shirt, or you can see your badge, or you're outside the hospital and it says going into work, or, and they put and people do this. Like, they're
all
terrible, and they will do this. Especially often it's coworkers that are out to get you, that will be like on a mission to find something to pin on you, and they're the ones that'll report that to HR. Yeah. But this really happens. One of the worst cases that comes to mind was about 2 years ago, and this one's really egregious. It wasn't like that where they thought, they really weren't doing anything wrong, but it was a NICU nurse that posted a picture of a NICU patient with hashtag gastroschisis, which was the diagnosis, and a comment about just trying to, or I think it was like your internal organs belong inside or something like that. Because this is when they're born with their organs on the outside. It's a serious condition. Something like that. Posted a picture of her and the infant, hashtag the diagnosis, like, well, that's HIPAA violation, like huge, right? She was, needless to say, terminated, and I mean, appropriately so. And then there's, like Katie Duke, who's a big nurse influencer on Instagram. She has been very transparent about something that happened to her, and it's been several years now, where she had been, I don't even know the whole story, but she had been on like a reality show at a hospital that she worked at in New York. And then she posted a picture on social media of a trauma room after. There was no patient in there. It was after a trauma, and the room was wrecked. And there was, like blood on the floor and all the things like how we have during a trauma. And she, I don't remember what her caption was, something like wear your seatbelt, maybe, or something like that. And she ultimately ended up getting fired for that, which I'm sure was terribly traumatic at the time, but she has done amazing with it and has, parlayed this essentially into a whole career as a social media influencer. But there's just tons. There was one, 6-7 months ago, I can't remember was it Ochsner Health? I can't remember. It was like Louisiana, and the whole group of people posted. Oh, yes. Remember? And it was, what was the song? It was like a super inappropriate song.
It was like, they were doing some slutty dance or something.
Yeah. It was like really inappropriate.
It was like a raunchy, it was a raunchy, like, slut
And it
song, if
had
you
like a
will.
nurse practitioner in it, nurses and nursing students and someone else. And they were so dumb. Like you could see most of them, you could see their badge in plain view. Like
Their
they
badge.
didn't even
I
try.
thought you were going to say their badge. You can see their badge in plain
No,
view.
their badge.
That's frowned upon. You can't
That
post
is frowned
your badge.
upon. The nursing student had on, I think, a shirt from the university. They used hospital supplies in part of the video, and I'm sure that's what got them, because that is technically theft of company property, because you have now used supplies, even if it's just like a 4x4, it doesn't matter. That
I
was
just
horrible.
want to say they weren't trying to be slutty. It was a TikTok trend. I want to put that in
Correct.
perspective. Like
Correct.
it was a
Correct.
trend that was going. So it's not like they just
Yeah.
came out with the slutty dance or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they were replicating something, but they did it
Yeah.
at the
It was a
hospital.
trend. It was like, really trending at the time. It was everywhere. But, huge lapse in judgment to do that at work, right? And I think some of them were terminated, not all, which, is a whole other story. But point is, nurses can be fired for making videos at work, and they are
Yeah.
frequently. And people need to realize this. Nurses and
It
nursing
doesn't
students.
matter if you're on your lunch either. It doesn't matter if you're on your
Correct.
break.
Correct.
Yeah.
And people hate when I say this. But look, I have been in those HR meetings where the person is fired and they are fighting for their job, and they just made a video during their lunch break or outside
Mhm.
the hospital thinking that they were safe. It does not matter. It does not matter if you are not clocked in. It does not matter. You are on company property.
Yeah.
And they will consider it theft of company time, even if you're on your lunch break. Someone
Because you
somewhere
can't
will
prove-
figure out.
You can't prove that you actually were. So they're
Yeah.
going to find a way to spin it.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the physician that just lost their medical license because
think
of the Yes, this was this week because of the TikTok videos. This is I believe let me get it right. I think it's a plastic
Okay.
surgeon, but was at the bad part was that
live
she was
streamed it or something?
Yes.
I don't know all the
streams-
details, but I heard about it.
Yes.
Wow.
Live stream kind of like
A
not
surgery.
making light of it, but giving information, teaching. But I don't think that these patients necessarily had consented. I'm not sure, but
And you
she
have to
literally
have consent.
lost her medical license. Her license has been revoked because of this. So it's not just nurses.
Really? Oh, I didn't
yes.
know that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
I
because
have
that's a
the
huge
video,
HIPAA violation
saved.
if you didn't get consent. Wow. And
Right,
the social media policy. But look,
A-
I am telling you
absolutely.
guys, no matter how much you think it's not fair, no matter how much you think it's not right, no matter how much you think it's not a HIPAA violation or you're not doing anything wrong or you're not clocked in, it does not matter. I am telling you, you
This
will
is actually
lose
was on
this
Inside
battle.
Edition. I found it. Dr. Roxy
was
is
it
her
really?
name. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm not throwing her under the bus. This has been everywhere.
Yeah.
But Dr. Roxy, it says with live streamer surgeries,
Oh, more than
and
once.
accused of failing to meet standard of care, whatever that means. But so
Wow.
you got to be careful out there.
You
Um,
have to
we
be
are gonna-
so careful.
Yeah, we're going to talk about how to be careful. But before that, we're going to get to our weekly messenger anonymous question. That's the way of saying it. An anonymous
Okay.
question of the week. So we always do this kind of in the middle of the podcast, and then we're going to get to finishing the topic at hand. But
Yeah.
we were messaged on our page by a nursing student, and the question reads, I'm currently in nursing school and seeing all of the things going wrong in nursing currently. How do I keep my motivation to keep going? That's a tough one.
It is. And that's one that I get all the time. And all I can say is, for one, you're not alone. Like, I think every nursing student feels that way right now, and new grads and nurses.
Yeah, everybody's feeling that.
Everybody.
For sure.
But for two, I wish that I had known as a new grad what I know now. no matter how bad, no matter how scary. I wish that I had the knowledge back then of what to expect, what could happen, and what my rights are, and what I should do if and when that happens. Because it would have made my whole career so much easier. Everything that I talk about now is because I have learned and gone through it and probably done it wrong most of the time. So there's
Of course
power
you have,
in
because
knowledge.
everything's your fault, Erica.
Everything is Erica's fault.
Of course you did it
Did
wrong.
we get the shirts yet?
I don't know. I'm getting one. I'm going to have it ready for the next podcast. But it's
So,
true though.
you know-
as a new grad, you're easily intimidated, I think. I mean, most
Yeah.
people are. You don't really know what you can say or what your necessarily all of your rights are. And I feel like it's tough. It's a feeling of vulnerability. It's a very hard place to be in. But
Yeah.
what I've told people is, right now, the way nursing is, this is the best advice I could give, and this is what I've told people. If you're in nursing school, but you're not comfortable necessarily going right now to bedside nursing, which in the grand scheme of things, in a perfect world, yes, ideally you need to be on the floor, you need to learn, you need to do your things. But I would say right now, rather than abandon the profession, there's other things you can do. There's other avenues you could possibly you could work for an insurance company. You
I
could maybe
disagree.
Why?
I disagree,
think
and I
that they
get this
should go
all
to-
the time. You absolutely have to go and get a bare minimum of 1 full year bedside experience. Now,
I
understand,
agree with that.
you can't. It's not that you
In the
can't
real
get
world.
hired doing something else as a nurse. You can go do home health or any of those things.
Oh,
You will get
especially
hired.
right now. You can, yeah.
But I am telling you that it will come back to haunt you for the entire rest of your career. Every time you go to apply for something, they are going to look upon it negatively and go, so you've never worked in a hospital? Doesn't matter what you're applying for. And it is
You're
so
not
much
wrong.
harder
You're not
to
wrong.
get into a hospital when you're no longer a new grad, because they don't know what to do with you. Most places do not have an orientation for those nurses that are not new grads, but that essentially need a new grad orientation because they've never done inpatient, right? So they will pass you up because you don't fit into their box and they don't have a way of training you that is appropriate.
This is such a
So-
hard position for nursing students, Erica. Like,
I know.
right now, I mean, it's scary with hearing what
It is.
everybody's going through and
It
how
is.
short staffed the hospitals are. I mean, how your work,
It's
you don't get
terrifying.
lunches.
It
I
is.
mean, but
Yeah.
my thing is, if somebody's on the brink of leaving it, do you say, if you're that close to leaving it, you should leave it? If you're not willing to go to bedside, do a year of bedside? Or do we try to keep nurses in the profession so that, in hopes that things get better, we'll have them there? I don't know what the right answer is, honestly.
I think that you owe it to yourself to try. So it's one thing to be scared and try, but it's another thing to be scared and not try, right? Like, you have to face your fears at some point, The only time that I have told a nurse, like, yeah, cut your losses, go, before they have finished 1 full year, is when I thought that they might self-harm.
Oh,
Like, it was
gosh.
so bad. And I'm like, cut your losses, get
No.
out, get out. Don't even give 2 weeks.
Nothing, your
Get
mental
out.
health, and yeah.
Right.
No.
But anything else, like, stick it out. Do 1 full year. I promise you, you will be glad that you did.
I will say the value of learning that you get is nothing that you can be taught any other way, shape, or form. I mean, I
Yeah.
agree with that 1000%. I hate that we're even having this conversation, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I hate that that's where things are right now, that that nurses don't even want to, that they're in nursing school, and the fear of going to working bedside at a hospital is so dreary because of the conditions, and it's just,
Yeah.
things need to get better. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I don't know the best advice other than, and maybe what Eric is saying, try give it a whirl.
You just know that knowledge is power. So you
It
have a
is.
lot of knowledge of what to expect, and it's 95% terrifying, but you are better prepared than I was going in. You have more knowledge of what to expect. You're better prepared than Jessica was, than most nurses are, because social media and the information is out there now in ways
true.
that
Yeah.
has never been out there before. So when, like, you or I were, confronted with some kind of corruption, I don't know about you, but I was always confused. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, this isn't what we were taught in nursing school. This isn't okay. I would have
Right.
I would have navigated it so much better if I knew what to expect. I would have recognized it when it happened, and I would have dealt with it better.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. So I don't know.
Mhm.
I think after talking with Erica, I think try not to give up on it. If you went into nursing school, there's a reason you did. You obviously have a passion for it. You like taking care of people. You maybe do your best. Give it a try, even if you're in there 6 months. I mean, it's better than nothing. But I don't want anybody to abandon their God. We just need to fix nursing, Erica. That would solve all these problems.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, well, if anybody else has an anonymous question that they would like to share and ask us, you can send it to nursesuncorked@nursesuncorked.com and send us your anonymous question, and we'll answer it on a future podcast. So if there's something that you're have a burning question about, please send it our way, and we'll try to get you here in a future podcast and get your question answered.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the topic at hand. How do we protect ourselves in social media?
So first and foremost, don't follow your coworkers. Don't let them follow you. I know that's hard because we're all trauma bonded with our coworkers.
You know that song that's "Don't your coworkers"? Have you heard that one? Don't FUCK your coworkers.
I don't know.
It should be don't follow your coworkers.
Right.
Don't follow. It's a TikTok song. But
it's hard because we spend more time with them, let's be real, than we do with our family and our outside friends, and we get to be really close with some of them, and we are trauma bonded, and you hear about their lives on a daily basis, and so you want to, but if you can, do not follow and do not let them follow. Keep your pages, your accounts private. Don't make them public. And certainly do not let your manager, someone above you, follow you, because I am telling you all the time, when you call in sick, they will immediately go on your social media and be like, oh, well, where is she? What is she doing? They absolutely
don't
check.
Call in sick and post a picture of you at the beach.
I've had employees do that. Like, they're clearly on vacation on the other side of the country, and they just called in sick.
But here, let's follow the basics here. When you set up your accounts, when it asks you your place of employment, where you went to college, no. I mean, you could say you're a nurse if you want to. I mean, but don't no identifying information whatsoever.
Correct.
And so many people put where they're working. They will
I mean, I've done it in the past for sure.
Yeah. I did it many, many years ago. I absolutely did. And luckily I'd never got in trouble for anything, but having worked in doing things in social media, I learned quickly, you better put all that on lockdown. And like Erica's saying, go through like if you're on, let's say, Facebook, go through every setting. You can set so many things to private that you don't even realize.
There's so many privacy settings that you don't even know are there to help you. You can make your following list private, who you follow private, who follows you private. Like, be smart.
You can make it look,
be smart.
You can set it where, like, if somebody looks you up, they can't even find you. Like, you'd have to find a friend and have them as a friend. And set it to the point that people can't even look you up. You can change it where nobody can tag you in a photo. There's all sorts of things you can do to protect yourself. But I think another big one I want to say, besides Facebook, Instagram, is LinkedIn. And a
Yeah.
big one when people are trying to hunt you down
Yep.
and figure out where you work, because that is um
Yep. It's
a
true.
networking site, that's business
Yeah.
connections, things like that. It's based on your business or what you do, and you may
Yeah.
not even think I need to fix that, but that right there could they could easily figure out where you work, or how
The
to
first time
figure
that
out.
I was doxxed after I started doing social media was because someone found my LinkedIn. I
See?
thought I was so careful and I had taken care of all my social medias. Never even dawned on me about my
Yeah.
LinkedIn. Yeah. Got rid of it
Yep.
after that. It's not
They
worth it.
absolutely. And the other thing I'll say is, I'm not working bedside currently, but when I was on social media and I was working bedside at the hospital, I never filmed at work. I don't care. Like we
Never.
were saying
Never.
earlier, never filmed at work. If I came home and filmed, which that's where I filmed, I I
Use a
would
green
use
screen or something.
green screen, but if I use like a badge, you can't obviously have your ID hanging there. Like if you're going to
Right.
use it as a part of your props, you can't have any identifying factors there.
Yeah.
And you definitely want to make sure that you don't mention your hospital in a post,
In
or
any
um,
way.
don't mention a patient detailed like specifics that could be tied to somebody.
Or a high profile thing that, like, a lot of time there was maybe a gnarly car accident or something that made the news where you live. And people will put two and two together. And you're talking about, how you were involved in that. And before you know it, HIPAA violation, social media policy, you're out of there.
Right.
Do
Yeah,
not. And I get the temptation. Like, don't we all want the realistic video? Like, I want to walk in the unit and use the real supplies and the real bed and the background and make like the most amazing video
Of
ever.
course.
I
Of
get the
course.
temptation, but you
Of course.
can't do it. You got to be smart, guys. They
Yeah.
will fire you. I have yet to see a single case where the nurse won in one of those
No.
situations. I have
No.
seen a few where they weren't terminated, but they were like suspended, but
Yeah.
they have never just gotten away with it. Ever.
Nope.
They will come after you for that.
And it doesn't matter. You can feel like
And-
you're so right. You can pitch a fit. You can publicize
Yeah,
it
it
all over
doesn't
social
matter.
media.
They will
'Cause
win.
I had another nurse that same thing, filmed a TikTok. Nothing was identified in the thing. It was a trend, but they were at the nurse's station doing whatever they were lip syncing. I don't remember. Took their badges off. They were fired. They claimed that was their lunch break, and they just ran out there and filmed it. But it doesn't matter. You're at the hospital.
There was
that's all it
recently,
takes.
well, this is probably 6 months ago or more, there was a large nurse creator that I don't know, that was allegedly let go from her travel contract for making TikToks at work. And she put a different spin on it and said that she was let go for something completely different. Well, I am telling you, that entire unit all messaged me separately over the next couple of weeks afterwards saying, hey, what she's saying is not true. She was absolutely terminated for making TikToks at work. I don't know what they expected me to do about it. Like, I was not about to call her out. That's not my place. I never
Right.
even, she doesn't even probably know that I know. I never said anything to her. I don't know her. But yeah, and she's a big social media creator. So like, no one is immune, guys. No one is immune.
Nope. Be careful. And if you guys have any other questions about it, or like I said, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll try to answer it the best way that we know how. Aside
Yeah.
from that, is there anything you want to add to that, Erica, or should we get into our award?
Well, yeah, I think I've touched on it before, but don't go on the company Wi-Fi. as well, kind of
Oh,
related
yes.
to that.
That's a huge
You
one.
know, and people still don't realize this because, you know, when you go on the company Wi-Fi or when you have to download apps that they say are required for your job, you have to click that I accept, okay, I agree, whatever button. And no one reads through that because it's like
No,
14 pages of
nobody does.
gibberish, you know?
Nobody does. Yeah.
And in not all, but in a lot of them, it absolutely gives them access and permission to access your phone and what you do on Wi-Fi when you're at work. So
Do you
think
wanna
about what
know-
you're doing on your break.
You
When
told me this last
ahead.
week, and even me, who thought I knew everything about covering your ASS, I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
It's like Big Brother. They're spying.
Yeah. So if you can, you know, imagine you're on your lunch break, you're on social media, or maybe you're messaging your best friend something like how much you hate your job, whatever. They can see that theoretically. Now, does that mean that they really have the manpower to sit there and look at what everyone's doing? Maybe, maybe not. But do not download apps that they say are required. Now, what they should do, if it is truly required, is they should either give you a cell phone stipend because they're making it required, right? Or a company phone. We all know they don't always do that. You need to go out and buy a burner phone. And I know that sucks. We shouldn't have to spend more money and all of that. But to protect yourself, if you truly have to download apps for work that you need to have, go buy a burner phone. Do not put anything on don't put your company email on your phone. Don't do it. It gives them access a lot of the time. And do not use Wi-Fi at work. Just stay off Wi-Fi, do whatever you need to do. Get a VPN, whatever. I don't really know how everything works.
That's
but
freaking scary. I mean,
it is. And that's how they get us a lot of the time. And we're
like you're
signing away our
saying,
rights.
they might not be, they're not looking at everybody constantly,
Right.
but if they have a reason to look into you for something.
Yeah, if they want to fire you, if you're
Yeah.
that person, you're under the microscope, they may very well go that route. Yeah.
See, at the hospital I worked at, if you weren't on Wi-Fi, you couldn't get a signal for nothing.
I know,
Like-
same thing with me at my last hospital, same thing. And that's so hard because
Yeah.
like, especially like a single mom, you know, my
Yes.
kids have to be able to get a hold of me in case of emergency. Like there's no way I'm not going to have any access for 13 hours, you know, and they get you. I don't think that that's coincidental. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I think that they make it so that we have to go on the company Wi-Fi. And if I knew everything then that I know now, I would have gone out and bought a burner phone just for work.
Yeah, and you can get them at like Walmart, I think, like
Yeah. Yeah.
cheap little phones that
Yeah, that you
don't
use strictly for work.
yeah, that don't tie to your name, like
Mhm.
exactly, that somebody could get a hold of you.
You don't have
They-
social media on it. It's
Right.
just for like maybe they make you have your company email, or some of the time it's like your clock, your time card, whatever app, you know, is on there, or to access your benefits, you have to have an app, something like that. But get it on a different phone. Protect yourself.
Be careful, everybody. That's the
Yeah.
lesson of this is look out for
Yeah.
yourself because nobody else is gonna. So yeah, you
Correct.
don't want to get yourself into any kind of trouble. When in doubt, just don't do
Yeah.
it. I don't know. I don't know what else
Don't
to
do it.
say. Yeah. So at the end of every podcast, we give out a very special award to somebody who is well deserving of the Not So Special Award. We like to call it the Code Brown Award. And
Yeah.
I posted a picture on our social media of our logo. And I was asking for suggestions on color. I wasn't
Mhm.
asking for any other suggestions.
I only ask for color suggestions.
I just asked if somebody liked like a vibrant color in the background of pink, or if we should stick with classic like black and white and keep it you know, and everybody was very supportive and wrote whether they liked bright pink or if they like black and white, but there's always a few.
There's
Few
always
people-
that one troll. Always.
Yeah. And
What did they say?
this person said that our logo was a disgrace to the nursing profession. An absolute disgrace.
Are you
and-
serious?
Yes, and you know what?
Why? Because of
You want to know
the
what
bottle
I feel like
opener?
nursing? I feel like nursing is a disgrace right now. How about that?
Correct.
How about we get to
Yeah.
the root of the problem?
Correct.
Instead
Absolutely.
of saying that the symbol, the medical symbol. Okay, so if you don't know what our logo is, it's the traditional medical symbol that has like the wings and
the serpent
snakes?
and the yeah.
And we found a cool way to overlay like a wine cork on the top, and it kind of like fits because ours is being uncorked, being unfiltered, being
Nurses
able to
Uncorked.
nurses uncorked, get your emotions out. So we
I
kind of
think it's great, and actually Jessica came up with that, and I thought it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I
love
have
it.
not heard of anybody else that has seen it as a disgrace to the profession.
I
But,
bet you anything that was, and people are going to come for me when I say that, but it was probably an older nurse, like of a certain generation. That still suffer under the delusion that nurses are supposed to be infallible and perfect and held to the, utmost standard, and God forbid we have a personality or a sense of humor or are real human beings. They just want to put us on
you
that
can't be
unattainable
real, Erica.
pedestal.
We're not allowed to be real.
I am nothing but real.
What I have to say to this lady is, if you're working in a profession that you're working yourself to the bone, that is every way upside down, messed up currently, if we can at least sit here and be uncorked and vent and share with each
It's
other
healthy.
and talk through, that is
Yeah.
the most important thing. So if that is seen as
Yeah.
a disgrace, then I guess I'm a disgrace. But otherwise, she deserves
It's therapeutic.
the award.
I
Absolutely.
have always said that, like, nurses being able to come up to the nurses station or in the break room, assuming there's no patients around, of course, and being able to vent about whatever they just had to deal
Yes.
with is absolutely therapeutic. I would never have gotten by as long as I have as a nurse without the ability to vent. We have to get it out somehow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that nurses' uniforms from here on out need to have a wine cork on them. I mean, I'm that's not what we're saying.
But if they wanted to,
I mean, that's fine too. But
I think
we're
it's funny.
trying to, we're not trying to change the medical symbol, okay? What we're trying to say
Yeah.
is that we need to vent, and that's the only way to get through it right now, because otherwise people are going to go insane. So cheers. This one's to you, mean lady on Facebook. Here's your
Enema
enema.
award for you, Karen.
Yeah, Karen. Maybe that was her name. I don't know.
These are the same
guys-
nurses that still think that, like, nurses shouldn't have tattoos or piercings or unnatural colored hair.
Or
like,
say
times
something
have changed.
to the doctor, or even
Yeah.
say something to the doctor when they're completely
Yeah.
wrong because they're the
Right.
doctor.
Yeah.
Like, and you're the nurse.
Exactly.
Take your role,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no time for that anymore in this day
No.
and age.
Ain't nobody got time for that. I don't know if y'all remember that, but that's a whole nother. That was a whole nother TikTok phase. Okay, well,
remember.
cheers, ladies and gentlemen, to another Nurses Uncorked, and we'll
Cheers.
see you. We'll see you next time. Please follow us on all of our social media handles at Nurses Uncorked everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube,
TikTok,
Where else are TikTok? Yeah, all of it.
and
nursesuncorked.com.
nursesuncorked.com.
We're on Spotify, all the big podcasting,
Apple,
Podbean. Yeah, you can find us. All right, till next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.